Hey everyone, Malthus here. Um, the servers are about to go down for pre-launch maintenance. But before that happened, I wanted to come in here and give you guys an update. I'm about 25 hours in. Um, my lich here is level 55, and I've had to finally learn how to use loot filters. Um, I'm not using a very complicated one. I just put it together myself, but I wanted to come in here and just give you the basics so that if you're picking up the game on launch, you're not going to be intimidated because it looks intimidating, but honestly, it's not. I promise. So, um, this is my character. I'm just kind of hanging out, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna go to game settings in main menu. Into the gameplay one, you're gonna go down to loot filter. See, I've made this one called Basic B because my character is a basic, you know, basic bitch. Anyway, so you're just gonna do manage loot filters. This is my very basic loot filter, and I'll explain what's going on. Uh, by the way, I will also at the end of the video or the second half, I'm going to show you how to find loot filters that other people have made that have been uploaded into the Last Epoch Tools website and how to both extract them or export them and load them in. Okay, so that way you can both know how to make your own simple one, but if you want to do a more complex one, you can go find one. So basically, it looks very complicated from the surface, but what it really is just a list of if then statements that are listed in priority from top to bottom. So, like, this is always going to hide all normal items no matter what it has on it. Okay? This is going to hide all magic items because I don't want to look at whites and blues. I do want to look at uh, yellows, most yellows anyway, but I don't want to look at yellows for characters I'm not playing as. So I don't have any mages, sentinels, or rogues right now. I'm mainly doing a beastmaster and a lich. So what I did is I went in there. I did. So we went in here. We did add condition, class requirement. We want rogue, and then we want to hide. Rarity, rare. We're gonna move this down here, and so now basically any rare item that shows up for any three of these classes is not going to show up. Any rare item that isn't for one of these three will show up, but won't be highlighted. Okay. And then the next part, I went down and did add rule. So we did this. We went to affix. And you can go in here and you can pick exactly what you want or what you don't want. And so, like for me, I'm doing minion builds. So I did minions. Okay. And I did confirm. And I put for two of them. Okay. And then what I did is I emphasized it. So not only is it going to show ones that do this, but it's going to make the name bold. But because it's under all of these ones, it's only going to do it for rare and above. So, like, if I have a staff that drops that has two or more things that increase minion stats on it, it'll show as a much larger nameplate of the same color. Okay. And then on this one is uh, acolytes and primalist idols. I want to make sure that these get emphasized also. So idols are a mechanic in the game that's kind of like a piece of gear. It goes over here. But some of them are class specific, and I only want the ones that I need to show up. And you get a lot of idols in the game. So like I made an entire, this is just idols, right? So I didn't turn off idols, but I wanted to emphasize the ones that might be awesome for me. So that's just another thing I did. Made it real simple. I didn't spend a lot of time going in and highlighting and unhighlighting and changing colors and stuff. I wanted to get used to the game's color system, so I did not change any colors. A lot of them that I've seen on the lists do that, and it's viable. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I recommend if you do that to pick a filter and stick with it for a while, because if you don't get used to the colors, you know, you might get your hopes up when you see something pop down and it's like purple or red or something, but really it's just a blue that they've recolored as a red. So, like I said, this is a very simple filter, but it cuts out 90% of the stuff. It's basically like generalist, rares and above, and it cuts out a lot of these specific rares. And you could cut out more, if you want to. All you'd have to do is go in here, and if there's like a certain stat you don't want, you'd go to affix. You'd go in here and you'd pick what you want, right? So let's say you don't want experimental ones, which is like weird stuff that happens when you use potions. You'd go in here, add that, and you'd hide it. And if you put that above, fairly high up in the order, it'll hide any experimental gear that drops with that on it. So it's that simple. It's as complicated as you want it to be. How's that? So the next thing we're going to look at is where to get loot filters. So yeah, there's tons of ads. Just ignore it. So if you just Google Last Epoch loot filter, you're going to go to lastepochtools.com. And you can see here it's got just a lot. There's a lot of them. And there's going to be more when launch hits, because they're going to have to, update them it'll show you when they were made. You're going to want ones that are made for launch, because that'll factor in Warlock and Falconeer gear. But you can just go in here and put in like leveling. And these are all leveling, right? So you want one like this one by Snickers 213. Beginner leveling. Okay. So we'll click on it. And this is exactly what it is. See, he's got some recolors. I'm not a fan. But he's also got like a bunch of other stuff in here. And what you'd want to do is you'd want to go through and make sure it's stuff that you actually care about. And if it is, then what you do is you go to export up here, this little button. You can copy to clipboard, or you can save to file. Why don't we just copy to the clipboard, sorry. Go back into our game. And we are going to do settings. Manage loot filters. And we want to do, we want to go back. So you can create a new one on your own. You can open your file folder, which is where you would do if you had saved it, or you can paste from clipboard. So as you can see, this is exactly what he wrote on his stuff. If we hit confirm, this is his loot filter. That's how easy it is to get a new one. Obviously, I didn't create a new one, so it kind of just pasted on top of mine. But whatever. Mine's pretty easy to make, so. Anyway, you can go out of here and you can start using it right away. If you end up not liking it, you just delete it, find another one on the list, and move on from there. And you can have one for every character. So if you want to have one that's, for leveling your minion characters, you could do that like I have. Or you could do one that's for void damage if you're doing a void knight. Or for fire damage if you're doing a warlock. And it can make it very nice. But I recommend the first couple characters you level, make it very generalist. Because you're going to want to get cool stuff for all sorts of situations. So like I've got all of these like uniques and stuff that if I would have made mine very specific, I might not have picked them up, but they're really cool. And they all have the potential to be like used in forging. So just a thing to keep an eye out. And this was just like a very basics of loot filters. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if I missed anything or misinterpreted anything in the comments, and I will get to you guys after launch. And I hope you guys enjoy the game. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.